Hey neighbors, it's Kaden, your funky food coach, back again to talk about something that we get in our harvest box all the time, but I get a lot of questions about, and that is herbs. And isn't it such a luxury to get fresh herbs every week in our box? I can't even count the number of basil plants that I have killed in my lifetime. So fresh herbs without all of the work, to me, is such a beautiful thing. Specifically, I want to talk about two different things today. One, how to identify some of the stranger, less common herbs that might come in your box. And two, how we can store these once we receive our harvest box to make them last as long as possible. It's such a bummer when your herbs go bad before you can actually use them. So today, we're going to talk about the best way to store these too. Now, there are a lot of herbs in your box that likely you have seen before, ones that we all know and love and we use for flavoring a lot of different dishes. Herbs like thyme, cilantro, chives, oregano. These are all ones that we've used really often. And chances are, even if you are a salad a day kind of herbivore, you usually eat your veggies raw, you can use these for salad dressings. There's just a lot that we use these kind of everyday herbs for. However, not every herb is always so easy to identify. So let's talk about those ones, shall we? So one of my personal favorites is this herb called lemon verbena, and I'll give you a quick look at lemon verbena here. Sometimes it has these beautiful little flower buds, but really the easiest way to spot lemon verbena is that it has these kind of rough to the touch pointy leaves, and when you rub it, oh my goodness, it has the most beautiful lemony smell. Now, lemon verbena is actually really great for your digestion. So while there are a lot of different things that you can use this for flavoring, meats, marinades, that sort of thing, because it's so great for digestion, I actually love to use it for tea. You can use it for hot tea or sun tea. My favorite thing to do is to pop a bunch of these leaves in a jar of water, put a cap on it, and let it sit in the sun for a few hours, and then you have a delicious sun tea. It's really wonderful on a hot day. So lemon verbena, when you get that, you can use that right up, and actually this is really easy to dry too. If you just want to leave it out on your counter in kind of an open air space, this will dry up and you can keep using it for tea after it dries out too. The second funky herb that I want to talk about is Cuban oregano. Look at this. This is actually a semi-succulent plant, and it's really easy to spot because it has these big fuzzy leaves. They're pretty thick, and it pretty resembles a succulent plant that you might see out in a garden or something of the sort. Now, these are typically used in Caribbean cooking and actually has a very strong oregano flavor. So these are fabulous pollinators. They're really great for our local bee population. And if you smell this, oh my gosh, it has a really powerful oregano scent. Now, as you can guess from that really strong scent, a little bit of this goes a long way. So you can actually use this to substitute in for traditional Mediterranean oregano in everything that you might be cooking. Just remember, you'll only need a fraction of what you would use for traditional Italian oregano. So get cooking with this local succulent. These can be really great fresh, so I actually like to wash these, cut them up, and put them in salsas for a little bit of a spicier taste. The third less common herb, but we see it a lot in our boxes, is actually lavender. Look at these cute little buds. Now, lavender is really commonly used in aromatherapy to create a sense of calm. However, it's also pretty tasty. Personally, I use my little lavender buds to flavor my homebrewed kombucha, but there are a lot of different things that you can do with these. You can bake them into breads or cakes. You can make an olive oil infusion to use when you cook, maybe along with those salad dressings that we mentioned earlier. Essentially, with lavender, whatever you use it for, you're going to want to give it a little bit of time to infuse. So whether you're putting it in kombucha, maybe yogurt, or olive oil, put it in there, let it sit for a few days so that it can really soak up all of that lavender flavor. And then when you pull the herb out, it's going to leave all of that really great scent and taste behind. Herbs, while fun to work with, tend to die quickly if we don't store them correctly really soon after receiving our box. Now, herbs like basil and mint, those are actually going to be best stored in your harvest box in your fridge. But all of the other herbs, they're going to want to get out of that box as quickly as possible after you receive it. Now, when you're thinking about storing your herbs, I want you to put herbs into two different categories. The first is soft herbs. Now, soft herbs are going to be leafy, bendy, flexible stems. Those are going to be herbs like chives, parsley, cilantro, lavender, those sorts of herbs. And the second is going to be hard herbs. These herbs will have woody stems. Their stems are inflexible. Those are going to be ones like rosemary, thyme, oregano, that sort of thing. So think about soft and hard herbs when you receive them and unpack them, because they are going to want to be stored different ways. Soft herbs are actually going to do really great in your refrigerator as so. Now, what you'll want is a little cup that you can put just a little bit of water in at the bottom, and you'll take those flexible herbs. I have my cilantro here, and you'll stick them right in that water. And then this is key, is you'll want a bag that you can put over the leaves. Now we want the bag over here because, one, we want to lock in the moisture for these soft herbs, but we also don't want them to brown or, kind of get gross from the leaves touching hard surfaces. So you'll take this bag, and I actually use a produce bag from the grocery store for this, but a Ziploc bag or any plastic bag that you might have will do. We'll take this bag and we'll put it over the top of those soft herbs, just like so. And you can tuck the ends of the bag right into the cup, stick that in your fridge, and that's going to keep those soft herbs really nice and fresh. For example, my cilantro here that I'm doing this example on, this has been in my refrigerator for 2 weeks. Before I started using this method for soft herbs, I never had cilantro last this long, ever. I used to think this was such a luxury because it would die within a few days. But in a cup with a bag over the top, my cilantro is now lasting for weeks. So I hope that that works for you with your soft herbs. Now, for your hard herbs, you're going to want either a wet cheesecloth, a cotton cloth, or a damp paper towel. Now, you'll take this and go ahead and run it under the water in cold water, get it nice and damp, but we don't want it sopping wet, so just dampen it up. And you're going to take all of those hard herbs and you're just going to lay them in the middle, just like this. So we'll go ahead and get those in there. And then you're going to ever so gently wrap your herbs in that cloth or in that paper towel. So we have this nice little pouch, and you're going to stick that in your refrigerator as well. So for example, I want to show you my rosemary that I've been storing this way. This rosemary has been in my fridge for 3 weeks. So look at this. Look at how beautiful this rosemary still is. It hasn't browned, it hasn't died. I can still use this whenever I like. Now with both of these methods, you're going to want to check your setups every few days just to make sure that the water hasn't dried out, that nothing needs adjusting. You may need to add some water to the cup or maybe redampen your cloth or paper towel. So just check in every few days to make sure that your little herbs have what they need in order to stay happy and healthy in your fridge. There we have it, my friends. I hope that you are excited to keep cooking. Now, our Good Neighbor Gardens Pinterest account has an entire board dedicated to herbs. So go to pinterest.com/goodneighborgardens and look for the Heavenly Herbs board, and you are going to find inspirational recipes for all of the different ideas that I mentioned today for all of these ingredients. So go take a look, and if you receive an herb in your box that you're having a hard time identifying with, you're not sure what to use it for, email me at funkyfoodcoach@goodneighborgardens.com with a picture of the herb that's stumping you, and I'll help you get an identification and we'll get you some ideas for using it as well. So thank you so much, my friends. Happy cooking.